Hi, everyone. Ooh, I know you're not used to hearing my voice without the happy ukulele music at the beginning of the show. But this is a different format of the show for today. I am rebroadcasting our episode 10 called Pivoting Online and Virtual Networking for Musicians. This episode kind of demystifies some of the social media trends that are out there right now and kind of gives you the basics of what you really need to have as a musician nowadays in terms of your online presence. And I decided to rebroadcast this episode specifically to kind of help prep you and get you in the right mindset for our next episode with Nicole Ricardo, who is she's like the queen of social media marketing, like just in general, but especially for musicians, and demystifying it for people and kind of like helping everyone to wear multiple hats as an independent musician in today's industry. I'm really looking forward to that conversation. If you want to find out more about Nicole before that episode airs, I'll put a link to her website in the show notes. She also has this great course. It's her Instagram Marketing and Sales Academy course that basically teaches you how to use Instagram effectively. She's on top of all of the new updates that they do. I really can't recommend her content enough. I'll put a link to that course in the show notes as well if you want to check it out. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you have any questions for Nicole for the upcoming episode, make sure you head over to the Unclassical Musicians Facebook group and drop them there. All right? If you haven't listened to this episode yet, I hope you get a kick out of it. And if you have listened to it, maybe you want to listen to it again just to see if you can garner any new information from it. All right. I hope y'all enjoy. Hey there. My name is Tori Lupinek, and you are listening to The Unclassical Musician, the podcast empowering the new generation of classical musicians to take risks and live a fulfilling life. Each week, we dive in headfirst into a topic on the minds of young professional musicians and come out the other side with a new perspective on life as an artist. Hey, it's me again. Happy Tuesday, if you're listening on Tuesday. But it's Sunday in my world right now as I'm recording. And it is cold in Houston, and it is like wintry mixing. I swear I saw some snowflakes earlier today, and I've been getting advisories on my phone that there's a chance of snow in the area tonight. And I know all of my students are probably at home crossing their fingers that it will snow and then the roads will freeze and then we won't have school tomorrow. And if we're being honest, I'm kind of feeling that way too. I hope that you enjoyed or appreciated the bonus episode from last week about PPP loans. If you have not listened to it yet and you're interested in potentially applying for government funding for pandemic relief, go back and listen to that bonus episode. It's only like 8 minutes. And if you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out. I am more than happy to help. Today, we're going to be talking about pivoting to online and virtual networking for musicians, and some stuff that you need to have in your back pocket in order to be successful nowadays during a pandemic when everything is online. You feel me? Okay, so yes, we are hopefully, fingers crossed, over the hump of this pandemic. Numbers are still really high. I really hope that we're more than halfway through, but just in case we're not, it is never too late to start amplifying your artistic voice online. Yes, you should do it, because when this is all over, guess what? Everyone will have a substantial online presence, and you will be virtually invisible if you don't, or if you're missing one of these things that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so stay tuned. Your online presence is meant to showcase your work. It is your platform to advertise your goods, services, and skills. So if you are a non-salaried musician, how do you expect to get new work if you are not promoting yourself? Gigs aren't going to just land in your lap if you're sitting in your living room practicing all day and just fingers crossed hoping that someone is going to email you. No, it's not icky to promote yourself. It's just business. I want you to consider adopting the mindset of a small business owner. Your music, your services and skills are your small business. It's just you, right? If you're listening to this, you likely don't have any employees under you. Your small business is your art. It's your music. And you won't have a successful business if no one knows what you have to offer, right? Now, I'm going to be real with you for a second. Do you know someone who may not be a stellar musician or a stellar human being for that matter, but they have a substantial online presence and they always seem to have work and people know who they are? It's because they're doing it. Okay? People less talented than you are out there making money during a pandemic just because their online presence is doing the work for them. You deserve the opportunity to share your art with others, especially now, especially with everything that's going on right now. I want your art to get out there, okay? And I don't want you to feel icky about upping your online presence. I want you to feel fired up to create an online presence that is a reflection of who you are as an artist and as a human being. So here are some necessities from my point of view. If you don't have one or more of these things, I want you to get on it yesterday. You feel me? Thing number 1, website. Plenty of good website hosting services out there. I personally use WordPress because that's what I have the most training on. But I've also created websites on Wix and Squarespace in the past. It doesn't really matter all that much which platform you choose. Most of them offer the same kind of services nowadays anyhow. But what does matter is your budget. You can have a free website or you can have a website that costs $400 a year. It depends on what you're using it for. Whatever you do, promise me right now. Say, Tori, I promise that I will pay cash for my website. Please don't go into debt over your website. It's not worth it. If you can't afford to pay someone $1,500 to design your website for you, then don't do it right now. Okay? You can ask many industry leaders. Half of them will say you gotta make an investment in your business in order to see a return on the investment, right? So that's the argument for charging this startup cost on your credit card and then paying it off later. And then there's also the school of thought that it is more responsible to keep your own skin in the game and only pay what you have available for you right now. So it's my belief that you should scale your business according to what you have in the bank right now. Because musicians, we already carry a lot of debt. I don't want you to carry any more. You know what I mean? Next up, number 2, YouTube channel. I got a number for you. 2 billion. 2 billion YouTube users worldwide. That's users. Okay, that's people that view YouTube. That's not YouTube creators. Okay. 2 billion people. That's a huge audience. It's huge. That's a lot of ears to capitalize on and share your music with. It's also really easy for your channel to get lost in the noise, right? One thing is for sure though. If someone is searching for a performance of yours on the internet, they're going to go to YouTube first. And if all you have up on your channel is your freshman recital from undergrad, you might not get called for the gig. You can create and edit pretty good quality videos on your phone nowadays, right? There's no excuse to not have at least a couple recent, pretty high quality videos on your channel that showcase your playing. Thing number 3, Instagram. Okay, go with me here. This one feels divisive for some reason. I know I personally resisted Instagram as a professional for a long time. I did not like the vanity metrics. I did not appreciate the way people portrayed themselves on Instagram. But let me just be real with you about this one too. There are people in music school right now who have thousands more followers than I have because they've been on Instagram since they were a child. Every Instagram post is an opportunity to connect with someone new. Every single hashtag, and you get 30 per post by the way, brings your art further out into the world. Another number for you, over 1 billion people use Instagram every month. Every month. And I'll tell you what, the music world is a very small fraction of that. Very small. The music world is so small, and it gets even smaller the more you use social media. My personal experience, I have made so many new friends during the pandemic thanks to Instagram. Right? In a time when we're like not out there meeting new people, I have actually made new friends thanks to this stupid app. To the point where I regret ever having disliked it and hated on it as much as I did 5 years ago, right? What are we on? Thing number 4? Thing number 4, Facebook group versus Facebook page. You probably know that both of these things exist. A lot of musicians who use Facebook as their primary social media presence have a professional business page. Your Facebook business page is essentially your website for Facebook. Okay? Your Facebook page will pop up in a Google search for your name just as easily as your website does. It's kind of weird. So as a musician, you probably also belong to some music-related Facebook groups. That's because groups are interest-centric and community-driven. So while your page might be a good place to advertise your services, and you might even buy a Facebook ad for your private lesson studio, for instance, groups are generally not used for promotion. They are discussion-based forums. Which reminds me, if you're listening and you have not yet joined the Unclassical Musicians Facebook group yet, go do that now. If you are a regular Facebook user already, you should definitely have a business page. Groups, optional. I just wanted to point out the difference between the two because not everyone needs both. Also, I know a lot of people really don't like Facebook. Just don't like using Facebook, don't like what it's become, especially right now. Okay. If you're listening in the future, I'm just going to put this into context for you. Last week, a bunch of crazy Trump supporters stormed the US Capitol. And they were mobilizing via social media. A lot of it on Facebook. Also this stupid Parler app. So I understand if you're not all about Facebook. I'm personally not all about Facebook, but I do have my professional business page and the Unclassical Musicians Facebook group. Little tip for you. Once you have your Facebook business page set up and your professional Instagram account set up, go ahead and make your personal accounts private if they are not already. You don't have to, but if you are the kind of person who shrinks at the thought of putting so much of their output online via social media, making your personal stuff private is a good way to maintain some level of privacy, obviously. Also, remember that if you are being considered for a job, your potential boss will be more drawn to your professional stuff, and if your personal stuff is private, they won't be able to lurk on it. Okay? Win-win. Since the beginning of this pandemic, my personal views on social media usage have completely flipped, and I'm sure a lot of people's have as well. And at this point in January of 2021, I like to consider my social media usage as networking for myself, especially right now. Social media is networking in the time of the coronavirus. I have a lot of older millennial friends who cringe at the very thought of using Instagram, or feel sleazy about using their social media to be, social and share their projects with others. To them, I say, please don't. Please don't feel sleazy. I'm not trying to tell you how to feel, but maybe consider adopting a different point of view, because I don't know about you, but I'm not gigging and meeting new players or physically going to schools and meeting other lesson teachers right now. Gigging is networking for musicians. And as much as we might sweat at the mention of that word networking, in a time when we're forced to stay home and not be around people, social media has become our new networking. If you don't like that N-word, think of it as making new friends. Please don't be on Instagram for the vanity metrics. Be on Instagram to share your art with the internet and maybe find new people to collaborate with on the other side of the world. As musicians, we have to get over being shy about promoting ourselves. Do you expect someone else to do it for you? I mean, those services exist if you want to pay someone thousands of dollars to promote you. But I know you're not trying to do that. So that's my spiel on the things that you kind of need to have online for your virtual presence nowadays, almost a year into the coronavirus pandemic. If it all feels a little much, or you feel like you're kind of behind, or you feel like you want to revamp your website, or if you need some help learning about how to effectively use Instagram, I am offering those free one-on-one coaching sessions this month. So go ahead and use the sign-up form in the show links, or you can send me an email, Tori@ToriLupinek.com, or DM me on Instagram @ToriLupinekFlutist. What else do we have going on? If you have big overarching questions regarding the episode today, definitely post about it within the Unclassical Musicians Facebook group so that others can benefit from the information as well. Fun stuff coming up. Next episode, very first guest, very excited. A great conversation on mindset with mindset coach Dr. Chelsea Tanner. Can't wait to bring you that conversation, so stay tuned. Just a quick reminder, if you are on Apple Podcasts and you have not yet left me a review, I would be ever so grateful. I don't know what I would do if I got like 5 to 10 more reviews on Apple Podcasts, it would just make my month. It really would. If you want to make my month, make sure you're subscribed and make sure you rate and review. I love you. Thank you so much. And in the meantime, that's all I got for today, y'all. I will see you next week with Chelsea Tanner, mindset coach for musicians. Yes. All right. See you then.